Why do we always find ourselves staring at our phones, crafting the perfect message, waiting for a response that never seems to come? That sinking feeling when you realize you've been the one initiating every conversation for weeks. You're smart, you're interesting, but somehow you've fallen into the role of the pursuer, always chasing, never being chased. Think about it. How many times have you sent that first text, carefully crafted to seem casual yet interesting, only to receive a lukewarm response hours later? It's exhausting, isn't it? This constant dance where you feel like you're the only one putting in the effort. I get it. I've been there too. That place where you're constantly checking your phone, wondering if she's seen your message, if she's going to respond, if she's as interested as you are. It's a special kind of anxiety, one that can consume your thoughts and drain your confidence. But what if I told you there's another way? What if the secret to getting her to blow up your phone isn't about finding the perfect opening line or the wittiest response, but about something much deeper? Here's the truth that most people miss. The dynamic of who texts first isn't just about communication. It's about perceived value and emotional investment. When you're always the one reaching out, you're unconsciously telling her that your time and attention are always available, regardless of her investment in the relationship. You see, humans are naturally drawn to what seems just out of reach. We value what we fear we might lose. When something or someone is too available, too eager, we often take them for granted. It's not because we're cruel or manipulative, it's just how our brains are wired. The good news: understanding this psychology gives you the power to change the dynamic. But let me be clear, this isn't about playing mind games or being inauthentic. It's about creating a healthy balance where both people are equally invested in connecting with each other. So here's what you need to understand first. Your constant texting might be coming from a place of insecurity, that nagging voice that says, if I don't text her, she'll forget about me. Or worse, if I don't keep the conversation going, she'll find someone else who will. These thoughts create a cycle of neediness that can be felt through your messages, even when your words say otherwise. The truth is, most attraction isn't built through text messages. It's built through meaningful connection, through being a man with purpose, with a life that's fulfilling whether she's responding to your texts or not. This is where most advice gets it wrong. They tell you to play hard to get, to wait a certain number of hours before responding, to follow arbitrary rules that make you seem busy. But people can sense when you're playing games, and authentic connection never comes from manipulation. Instead, the real shift needs to happen within you. Here's what you need to do. Start building a life that's genuinely engaging and fulfilling on its own terms. When you're deeply involved in pursuits that matter to you, when you're connected to friends who value you, when you're working toward goals that excite you, that authentic engagement becomes magnetic. Think about the people you find most interesting. Aren't they the ones who have a certain passion about them, who seem to have a rich inner world, who don't need your attention to validate their worth? That's what you need to cultivate. And here's where it gets counterintuitive. When you stop texting her first, it's not because you're playing a game. It's because you're genuinely engaged with your life. It's because you respect yourself enough to invest your energy where it's reciprocated. It's because you understand that true connection can't be forced through persistent text messages. I know what you're thinking, but what if she never texts me first? What if I pull back and the connection just fades away? That's a valid concern. But ask yourself this: is a connection where you're doing all the work really the kind of relationship you want? When you always text first, you never give her the space to miss you, to wonder about you, to feel that little spark of excitement when she thinks of something she wants to share with you specifically. You're robbing both of you of that experience. Here's what happens when you step back. You create space. And in that space, something interesting occurs. She has the opportunity to step forward, to initiate, to pursue, but only if there's genuine interest on her part. If there isn't, then you've saved yourself time and emotional energy that you can now invest in someone who will reciprocate your interest. Either way, you win. But let's get practical. How exactly do you make this shift? It's not as simple as just stopping all communication. That's not creating space, that's disappearing. First, gradually reduce the frequency of your initiating texts. If you've been texting her every day, don't suddenly go cold. That seems like punishment or manipulation. Instead, ease back. Maybe text every other day, then every few days. Second, when you do text, make it meaningful. Instead of the generic hey or what's up, share something specific that made you think of her. This shows that while you may not be constantly reaching out, when you do, it's with intention and thought. Third, and this is crucial, fill your time with activities and people that energize you. This isn't just a distraction technique, It's about building a life that's attractive because it's authentic. Fourth, when she does reach out, be responsive and engaged. Don't play games by deliberately waiting hours to respond if you've seen the message and have time to answer. The goal isn't to punish or manipulate. It's to create a balanced dynamic where both people are putting in effort. And fifth, be patient. This shift doesn't happen overnight. There might be a period where communication lessens as the dynamic adjusts. That's normal. Give it time. Now, let me address something important. This approach isn't about power or control. It's not about making her chase you out of insecurity. It's about creating a healthy foundation for potential relationship. One where both people freely choose to connect with each other, rather than one person constantly seeking validation from the other. The most beautiful connections come when two people are secure enough in themselves to give each other space, yet interested enough to consistently choose to come back together. I've seen this work time and again. Men who were stuck in unfulfilling patterns of always pursuing, always being the one to reach out, who made this internal shift and suddenly found themselves receiving those thinking of you texts, those want to meet up invitations, those I miss talking to you admissions. But here's the catch, and it's an important one. This only works if there was genuine interest there to begin with. No communication strategy will create attraction that wasn't there. And that's actually the gift of this approach. It reveals the truth of the connection, allowing you to either nurture something real or move on from something that was never going to fulfill you. Remember too that different people have different communication styles. Some people rarely initiate conversations but are always happy to hear from you. Pay attention to her engagement when you do talk, not just who starts the conversation. The real power of stopping the cycle of always texting first is that it requires you to focus on yourself, your worth, your interests, your life beyond this potential relationship. And ironically, that self-focus is exactly what makes you more attractive to others. So yes, stop texting her first all the time, not as a tactic, but as a reclamation of your time and energy. Do it because you deserve someone who reaches for you as often as you reach for them. Do it because the very act of focusing on creating a life you love will naturally draw the right people toward you. And when she does blow up your phone, which she will, if there's real interest there, it won't be because you manipulated the situation. It will be because she genuinely wants to be part of the rich, fulfilling life you're living. And there's no text message in the world that feels better than that. You might be wondering, what do I do in those moments when I really want to reach out? When I see something that reminds me of her, or when I have a great story to share? These are the moments that test your resolve, that challenge your new approach. The truth is, sometimes you will text first, and that's okay. This isn't about rigid rules, it's about overall patterns. When you do feel that urge to connect, ask yourself, is this coming from a place of abundance or scarcity? If you're reaching out because you're feeling anxious, because you're seeking validation, because you're afraid she's losing interest, that's scarcity. But if you're reaching out because you genuinely have something meaningful to share, because you're coming from a place of confidence and self-assurance, that's abundance. One of the most powerful shifts happens when you begin to see your communication not as a way to keep someone interested, but as a gift you're choosing to share. When you text from this mindset, the energy of your messages changes completely. I've worked with men who were surprised to discover how their entire texting style transformed once they addressed the underlying neediness driving their communication. Suddenly, their messages became more authentic, more engaging, and paradoxically, more likely to receive enthusiastic responses. What's fascinating is how this principle extends beyond romantic relationships. The same dynamics play out in friendships, in professional networks, even in family relationships.